The first year I turned 25,000 or 27,000 into like 150,000 from just one setup. Scaled the 170,000 into, a little over $1 million.
This is millionaire trader Zander Odom. And 1 year ago, he faced an unexpected accident that changed his life completely. And where most people become a victim to life, Xander sees it as an opportunity to come out on top, to inspire, to never give up.
You just have to go through a lot of pain, and I think everyone goes through a lot of pain, but it's just which pain do you choose? And I think if you want to live a fulfilling and impactful life, you have to choose your pain wisely.
Welcome to the first podcast of DigiTrade Diaries. I'm going to call it DigiTrade Diaries.
Cool.
What do you think?
Sounds good.
No, I'm super excited. I'm here with this person I literally look up to. I literally look up to you, bro. This is a very inspiring story that I really want to tell. And we got Zander Odom.
Pleasure to be on, and the first one.
Yeah. To get started, this is just going to be us talking. I want you to really break down your story, your trading journey, and just talk.
Cool.
To get started, talk to me, man. Tell me about you.
Cool. Well, I started trading when I was 13, and I was just in, I think, 8th grade at the time where I learned about it. Started on Robinhood, the app, and started with Tim Sykes. So got in through there, through the, the advertisements and stuff like that.
The Lambos.
Yeah, the Lambos, like everyone else. And I was just interested in the markets overall. Like, they just seemed super interesting, and what I was excited about is the infinite scalability of it over anything else. And it was fun to do. I spent my summer times doing it over middle school and high school, but I never really got into it in deep until high school, end of high school in my sophomore year, so 3rd and 4th year of high school. So yeah, I was also always entrepreneurial. I, tried a lot of video games, going pro in those, and
Fortnite.
Yeah, and I tried other business ventures. Like, for example, in middle school, I sold fidget spinners to classmates. So I bought them from China for like $1 a piece and sold them for 10 to kids in my school, and I think I made like a $600 profit. So that was like just showing me right away like how profitable these things can be in the entrepreneurial way. So super intriguing there, and that got me really into it. I was always interested in money from a young age, so I knew I needed to find out how to make it one way or another. But yeah, I decided end of high school that I had to stick with something. I really didn't want to go to college, so I just determined that trading was the best way to go, that it had infinite scalability, that if I just dedicated all my time to it, it was a guaranteed thing. Even though, so many people say it's not, I knew it would be for me as long as I just kept with it. And I was willing to keep going with it as long as it took. I was gonna, if I had to go to college, I would have, and just continue doing it through there. If I had to get a job, I would still keep trying at it, because I knew it was inevitable. And when it did end up working, it was gonna be, everything I wanted and more.
You think it caught your interest right when looking at those charts?
Yep, right away. Like, the bug bit me, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
It's an interesting story, because for me as well, I was super entrepreneurial. And as soon as I saw that you can extract money from
nothing, basically.
a screen.
Yeah.
Would you say that's kind of like a similar experience?
For sure.
Something that kind of intersected the right way?
Yeah, it's going to live that way forever, for sure.
If you could describe your trading journey in 3 words, what would they be?
First one, definitely perseverance. It's never easy. Even at this point, it's honestly harder than it's ever been right now, even after having scaled a little bit. Like, initially, when you start out, you have nothing to lose. You might think you do, but you're starting from ground zero. So how it goes is you have a little bit of success and then full setback, success, full setback. And so it gets exhausting initially, but now I have something to lose. And like everyone around me knows I've become a little bit successful. And so now you have kind of like a reputation and you don't want to let people down. So the pressure becomes higher. You have more aspirations. You have more confidence in yourself that you can do it. But at the same time, you're worried about that confidence going away. Like, it's so easy for that confidence to go away even after you've, quote unquote, made it. So that perseverance is definitely the first word. Second one, probably, scalability. Like, compound interest, like that, I don't know if that fits, but like that's always just a motivational factor for me that, you just need a winning streak to come back from anything, no matter how much down you are. Like, that's what keeps me going forever. So no matter the drawdown, no matter the confidence shaken that I've gotten, I can always recover just from a good streak. So I'm willing to go through a lot of pain to continue this journey. And even if, this early success is not the real success that I'm going to get later on, I know that at some point I'll be able to scale it and I'll be able to hold it and, create the wealth that I'm hoping to. So definitely scalability is the number one thing. The number two thing.
Relentless, would you say?
For sure. Relentless. I hope that all three words that I come up with like kind of tie together to the same kind of idea. Probably some kind of inspiration. Like, I can't live a boring life. Like, I like the idea of a simple life, but I want to make things interesting. And I think, trading is not going to be, I'm going to be trading forever, but it's not going to be the only one thing. I want to take trading and use that to build off of other things. Like, now I'm in this situation and I want to use trading to, change lives for others in my situation. And I know I can do that because, there's a low amount of people that are in my situation, but still a lot to make a big impact. And the market is not very mature, or it's almost overly mature where it needs some disruption. So I think there's a lot of industries that could use disruption. And I think, trading can get me there and I can inspire a lot with that. And also just live an interesting life, doing new things, changing the world as best I can.
How has your perspective on success changed?
Well, I guess starting out, I knew that anyone could become successful, but I know it even more so now. And I think a lot of people, I think the majority of people just don't think they can become successful. That's why they're like hating on people who are successful so easily. Like, they just don't have belief in themselves, and it's entirely possible. It's just, you just have to go through a lot of pain. And I think everyone goes through a lot of pain, but it's just which pain do you choose? And I think if you want to live a fulfilling and impactful life, you have to choose your pain wisely. And I think most people don't choose their pain wisely.
Okay, I have a few questions on trading. I want to go into your trading first, and then really on this situation, of course, and how it has really just changed everything, obviously. But I have these little notes for you, and I'm gonna just rapid fire through them. Cool. I have this one, and I created this question because really, this is just gonna be a conversation between us, and this is gonna be super helpful to whoever wants to listen to this and is a trader in the similar process. But this is something that I've been trying to, asking around, and people have different opinions on this. But have you ever fallen out of love for trading?
Definitely, for sure. Like, not to the point I've never once thought about quitting or doing something else, But definitely, like, there's times where whether I'm in a drawdown, happens most frequently when I'm in a drawdown, or I don't really know how I can scale it further. I'm like, I don't know, it's just not interesting to me. Like, I don't want to do anything right now. I kind of just want to detach for a little bit. And I'm even in that spot right now. Like, I'm like, where's my next steps? That's the biggest question, where it gets me, where I lose hope. And it's like, where do I go next? I don't really know. Especially with trading, the nasty cycle is like, trying a setup, it doesn't work. You find hope for another setup and it doesn't work. It's just a constant cycle and it never ends, and I'm still here now. I've scaled all my success on just a few setups, and those setups probably only took a month to find, and then I scaled them for a year or two. So now I'm in that period where I still have some setups that are doing well consistently, but I'm looking for the next big thing that's going to push me further, and I haven't been able to find that yet. So that's where, I am falling out of love with trading temporarily, but I know for a fact I'll find it again once I get some hope and I get some traction.
It has happened before?
Yes.
How many times?
I mean, it happens every 3 months, I would say. Yeah. Probably lasts for a month or two.
And what's that process look like for you to detach and come back? How do you do that?
I just stay with the routine, stay with the process of trying to find new setups, trying to build on the ones I have. And, I have the systems in place to where once I find them, I can scale them. And, if they don't work out, minimal impact on losses. But if they do work out, it's going to scale.
Yeah, because nobody has a 100% win rate, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a big misconception about when you get into trading, right? Where a lot of people think you're going to just win quick and all the time. Yeah. Does that happen to you where you are in that drawdown, but you think through things and be like, yo, this is part of it, right? Of course, yeah. It's a lot of like reminding myself of whatever motivational quotes or just the cliche ones. It's exhausting, but just every day I'm like, oh, I'm going to get through this, and this has happened in the past. 1% better. Yeah, 1% better every day. And I always think of the analogy of bamboo grows underground for years and years until it sprouts all at one moment. I think in trading that's very accurate. Like, you spend all this time researching, testing, and trying to scale. And then, at some point in the future, when you least expect it, everything goes up in favor. And I think that happens outside of trading too, in business as well. That's beautiful. Yeah, I agree. I think those, a lot of people in the trading world get in there and be like, this is super cliche or motivational, but it works. Right? Yep. Let's move on to your edge. How did you discover your edge? Yeah, so I guess I'll go back to when I started trading. Everyone starts out discretionary. Everyone starts out random trading, clicking buttons. Breakouts. Yeah, the cliche ones, which sometimes work, sometimes don't. But 6 months to a year after I started trading, I found some traders who were doing systematic trading, where basically it just means trading rule-based. I enter at this signal, exit at this signal, risk this level, that stuff. And I really found my stride with that because I was able to backtest with cold hard numbers and see if something was profitable in the past that I could potentially replicate in the future. So once I found that and built that kind of methodology of just backtesting different setups, I did that relentlessly for probably 3 to 6 months before I found the one that scaled me initially. And once I did, I just, stuck with that, rinse and repeat, which involved me waking up at 1 a.m. Pacific time every day I did it up until my injury, which was early 2025 this year. Yeah. So I was waking up at 1 a.m. Even if we were traveling in a weird time zone and we had stayed up the night before late, I would get 3 hours of sleep and I'd wake up at 1 or whatever time it was to trade the setup, just rinse and repeat.
So that was like robotic mode. Once I found the setup, I just execute and scale it. So that's what I did to find the setup, and that cycle is continuing. Like, I'm always looking for new setups. I'm always trying to scale them. So I've done that with a few setups up until now.
How important is data and back testing for you?
It was super important for me. I think I'm going away from it a little bit. I'm trying to take bigger, less frequent trades to try to scale my current account. Mm-hmm. So initially it was super important.
Yeah, I find myself probably struggling there most. So I guess, what's one thing that you would say in terms of your journaling, in terms of your post-execution? How do you go into that process of finding and backtesting the crap out of your strategy to figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you? Yep. What's that process like? It
starts with an idea. So I always start with just sitting down, generating as many ideas as I can, coming up with a list of 20 or 30 just random setup ideas. Like, what if I bought it this time, sold it this time? Mm-hmm. Simple stuff. And then from there, going back testing the entry, risk, exit of all that. And then doing different, for each of those setups, testing different entry methods, different exit methods, risk methods. And then, once I find a back test that is promising, I can, start trading it real time. And from my experience with a good setup, it usually starts working right away. So that's a pretty good sign that I'm onto something. So if it starts working within the month, I'll start scaling it, using a percentage risk of my account. And if it doesn't work, that'll be clear to me very soon. But if it does work, I just scale it, rinse and repeat.
Did you ever know you were going to make it in trade? Did you always just like, this is my thing? I always knew I'm going to make it. Did you ever have that thought process? Trading?
Yeah, I always knew. Like I said, even if it was going to take going through college, going through a job, I was just going to continue doing it however I could. That's one thing I like about the markets is you can do it in any position you're in. You don't have to trade the market open. You can do anything, like, after hours, swing trading, long term. It doesn't matter.
Did you go to college?
No, so I had applied to colleges, and I never wanted to go to college. All through high school, I was like, I don't want to go to college. So I convinced my parents that I would take a gap year, and I did that by giving them kind of like an ultimatum, like, if I make $40,000 before it's time to go to college, I'll be allowed to take a gap year, and I was able to achieve that kind of at the last minute. So I did that, took a gap year, and that's when I continued scaling the setup. And so, once I had something to show for it, I just didn't go back. The high school I did go to was like a dual enrollment, so I had some college courses. So that kind of bought me some extra leeway as well. But yeah, I was never a fan of college.
What was that conversation like with your parents?
They always knew I didn't like college, the idea of it. So I think they knew it was coming, and when I brought it to them seriously, I think they considered it seriously, and I think they believed in me. They saw how hard I worked. And with past things, with my cycle, I would always find something I get a lot of hope on, do it for like a month and then quit. And they saw that all the time. But with trading, I didn't do that. I did it for 2 years before going to college, or potentially going to college. And they saw that. They saw that I was dedicated to this one thing, and it wasn't some phase that I was in. So I think they believed in me.
Walk me through your trading day.
So it's been the same, I think, throughout my whole journey. I mean, wake up early, trade the setups that I've been testing, and then afterwards, back test for the rest of the day. And for me, in the past, that was back testing with data, going through the setups, entry, risk, exit, just doing all that work. I do some of that now, but nowadays it's more discretionary. I'm reviewing charts. I'm reviewing ideas. Is this idea going to work, and what does it really look like? I do some like rough back testing, but yeah, it's more or less the same throughout the day, just back testing. I've never been a huge like review person. I think that's one thing I lack, is like reviewing big opportunities. I'm really like, I have a short attention span, I think. And so I've never been able to like get a lot from review, but now I'm getting a lot better at that. Like with the recent quantum sector run, that was like the first real like sector run that I dove into. Before the whole thing happened, I planned it all out. I spent hours and days just planning on different scenarios playing out and how I would execute. So with that, I have my plan. I executed it. The move is over right now, or there's still some setups that are going to happen, but most of the move is over now. And so now that I've had a plan and I've executed, it's a lot easier for me to go back and see where I went wrong. And so this quantum run was the first time that I was really able to review and spend a lot of time just planning for future opportunities that are similar and how I can do better.
What's the setup that has made you the most amount of money?
Probably small caps, shorting gappers. Shorting the day one gappers.
Days?
Yeah.
First red days?
No. So like, huge gap percent, no previous history on the chart, fresh runner on the day one, just shorting them, swinging them. It's extremely simple setup. And I think a lot of people try to do that, but my one edge was just holding longer than others. A lot of people are trying to trade these gappers and scalp them or just short them for like, a couple hours.
Yeah.
And that's just fighting with the algos, but the algos dump at the end of the day, so I just swing them. So that's a setup that has, gotten me to where I am now. And I feel like that's where a lot of my lack of confidence comes from, because up to this point, I feel like a lot of my success has been from just one kind of opportunity in the market. But I know I can repeat the success with some other opportunity.
And it's always good to focus on one first, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
How's your entry? What's your indicator that this is my entry, or what's your strategy in terms of the entry?
Probably just pure candlesticks, time frames. I look at a lot of different time frames. Sometimes I came up with different indicators using ChatGPT, like whether it's like a combination of different indicators or something. I tested so many crazy ideas. I think that's what gives you edge in the market, is testing ideas that you've never heard from anyone else. So that's probably, I've always kept it simple. So
the thing that when you see it, you enter. What is it?
Probably 1 minute. In the beginning, it was a simple like 1 minute candle bar break. Stock goes on a huge clean 1 minute run, and then first candle happens, and then next candle breaks down. I'll short that, and then
full size.
Yeah, full size, tight risk against highs, higher risk reward setup. That setup I haven't traded in a while. I don't know if it still works. Nowadays, I'm more kind of less technical based, kind of more like overall market. I think overall day one gappers will fade, and so I'll just kind of short around the open, swing. It's pretty simple. I mean, nothing super technical.
So let's move down to more of your more personal life. Has your view on success, like, has your perspective on success changed?
Definitely. I mean, maybe not drastically. I think I've always understood success from a young age. Like, it takes hard work, it takes luck, it takes persistence, there's a lot of failures. Mm-hmm. But then, actually going through it, it's a whole other beast. I mean, so it's definitely a learning process of how hard it can get, how hopeless it can get. But all the same simple ideas apply, persistence, dedication, focus, all the same things, yeah.
Yeah, just what about your purpose with trading? What's your purpose with trading?
Yeah, my purpose definitely to get off the ground, I think. I want to get off the ground net worth wise so that I can do other things. Just different business ventures. I'm passionate about trading. I'll always be trading. But I think at some point it gets not easy, but you kind of get the gist of what it takes and like how to perform. And once I'm there, which, I feel like I'm there, but it's just going to take more time to continue scaling, then I can kind of focus on other things that are maybe not passion projects, but help others and could also scale me further net worth wise. But that's my purpose in trading, is getting off the ground, really.
I see this amazing drive from you waking up every day still, after this insane obstacle that has appeared in your life. What keeps you motivated and just pushing forward every single day to just wake up and go at it?
I think curiosity, for sure. I want to see where things go, what kind of life I can build. And I don't want to just, I don't want to settle. Like, I'm not comfortable settling where I'm at right now. That would just be boring. I want to keep it interesting. I want to keep growing as a person, seeing what I can accomplish.
I think a lot of people need to see your side of the one that I've seen, which is this human just being extremely happy all the time, just any obstacle, just whatever, we go at it. I think a lot of people need to see this, and this question is gonna probably help these people see that. But how was your process, your initial thought process, and the way you managed this accident that happened to you? How did you confront that?
I mean, I'm still confronting it now. It's been pretty, I'm like 9 months in to the injury. So, it's crazy. Like, just, it's kind of like trading. Even more hardships. And it feels like, to me, even right now, it's kind of pessimistic, but less upside. Like, where can I go from this? But also at the same time, more upside. Like, although with current technology, it's like, it seems limited where I am right now in terms of like growth and improvement in myself. I think that's even more inspirational because, anything is possible. Just seeing other people do crazy things like Elon Musk land rockets back from space. Like, anything is possible. Magic is possible. So I think that's what inspires me to continue. So when I'm super down, I just remind myself that there's bad times and there's good times, and that good times will always come as long as I keep pushing. So that's what I just tell myself.
I always see you reading a book, and you gave me this book as well, and it has been my favorite book. I am pretty sure I know which one you're going to say, but what is your favorite book?
Yeah, reality transurfing for sure. 100,000.
I need you to talk to me about it because it's an amazing book.
It's not. I love it because it's not like woo woo. It's not. In the writing it seems woo woo, but it's really not. It's realistic. It's simple ideas. It's like a complex delivery, but simple ideas. Don't fall into trends. Don't fall into what other people are focusing on. Focus on yourself. If you're too attached to a certain outcome, like, detach yourself from the outcome. Just focus on the present. it's just a simple way to get through challenges and build the life that you want. You know, visualize what you want to accomplish, but don't be too attached to that outcome because that outcome changes. But at the same time, anything is possible and you can get to wherever you want in life, guaranteed, as long as you just, you know, keep on working on that intentionally and doing the right things.
It's hard to believe, right?
Yeah. Yeah, some of it's hard to believe. It's because it seems woo-woo when you read it, but when you really understand it, it's really not. I mean, the way it says, you know, it says like you can, you know, there's infinite possibilities and you're able to get yourself to wherever you want in that infinite possibility space. And it seems crazy, but it's definitely, I definitely believe it's true. Like whatever you want, you can get exactly there. It's just, you know, is it worth it to you, the challenges that it's going to take to get there? Maybe it's smarter to focus on an outcome that is more, not easier to get, but least resistance with the most possible, you know, satisfaction and reward.
I'm spreading it across everyone in my surroundings, my brother.
Yep.
I'm spreading it across everyone because it has truly changed my life, and I feel like it has changed yours as well.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've read it twice now, and I'm reading it right now. I'm just always reading it. The craziest thing about the book is whatever place you are in life, you open the page and it seems like right away applicable to whatever you're dealing with. So that's my favorite thing about the book. And I feel like I've only scratched the surface, so I'm always going to be reading it and trying to understand it more deeply. Yeah.
What about a trading book?
Trading book. Market Wizards.
Market Wizards?
Market Wizards for me because it shows that, you know, kind of normal people can scale things crazy. Mm-hmm. It also shows what pure dedication looks like and someone who's really in love with trading, what they can accomplish. It's a really good book series.
Yeah, I agree. Here's another one. What is the biggest piece of advice you have ever received?
That's a hard one because I mean, I've received so much advice and I feel like there hasn't been just one that has contributed to everything or anything. I mean, yeah, I take advice from everyone and anyone and I take it all into consideration, but not one stands out to me, honestly.
Has there not been something that has clicked for you when you applied?
The thing is, during different parts of the journey, definitely. Like I hear a piece of advice and that's what it takes to take me to the next step. So it's a continuous thing. So it's hard to look back now and say which one had the biggest impact. I feel like throughout the journey, it was a lot of small pieces of advice that catapulted me forward.
I love that, bro. I guess I'm genuinely super curious about this one. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
10 years, I see myself probably running a hedge fund, you know, with a defined process that I'm an expert in, that, you know, I'm kind of a pioneer in my own kind of edge. I found my place in the market and what I'm going to do for the next 50 years to scale. And besides the hedge fund, I think I'll be having a lot of side ventures. One of them being, you know, some kind of exoskeleton to allow me to do everything I was able to do before and more. And that's not, you know, the exoskeletons now in the market, they're not good. I think with current technology, it's extremely possible to do things better. And besides that, I mean, just having fun with other ventures, even if it's not crazy profitable, like real estate, whatever. Just anything that money can do to change the world around us. Like, I want to have fun with it.
And how do you see the overall view of the market in 2026?
I think we're super optimistic. I don't see any crazy depression happening in the future. I mean, it seems really good. Maybe that's a sign that there will be one, but even if there is, I think the market volume is higher than it ever has been. And even in a depression or recession, I think there's going to be opportunities in the markets because things are just they're so mature now. You know, looking back into the 1900s, there were a lot of opportunities. Maybe it becomes more long-term. You know, if we go into a recession or something, maybe the opportunities are more long-term, less short-term. But I think there's always going to be opportunity. So I think that's why I never lose interest in the markets. It's like, this thing is going to be around forever, and so I want to master this game.
Yeah, and it's something you can do in so many ways, like crypto trading, swing trading.
And now with betting markets and who knows what else comes. I mean, it's all universal as well. Like, I could take my trading expertise and go to the betting markets and probably find my place. So I want to master this game.
It's a good skill to have.
Definitely.
You told me you were moving on to large caps. We talked about it a little bit. How is your strategy changing?
Yeah, so I haven't really found my place in large caps yet, but I'm going to. And it's not super large caps. I'm kind of going from very, very small cap to mid cap with a little more volume. And a part of that move is because I'm starting a hedge fund, I need more liquidity to play with, a little bit of higher time frame. So I don't have my setup yet, but I'm building on it. And I think I'm trying to find something that's going to last decades that I can build off of. You know, with small caps, it's short term. Like, small caps are always changing. You have to be nimble. You know, the setup that worked for me 3 years ago probably doesn't work today. So I want to shift my focus into more long-term stuff that's going to serve me for decades. You know, I launched off the ground with small caps, but I want to start building something real with a foundation in mid-large caps.
I want you to hype yourself up a little bit. Like, I want to expand on your success, because you talk did this and you're super humble, but a lot of people you would prefer to listen to someone that has made millions and has made this and has done it this than to someone that hasn't. I want you to expand on that. I know we don't talk numbers and all that, but how would you represent and say how much or how well you have done with small caps?
I mean, small caps are crazy. Like, so I'll explain the numbers. So I started out like everyone else, kind of with $27,000 right over PDT. And obviously you don't want to dip below that. So I focused on that $2,000 I had above PDT. So I was like, okay, I can't lose more than this. You know, if I do, I can replenish it. I was working as a barista, so I had no expenses. I would go to work and make that money to replenish the account if I dip below. So I was trying to build off that $2,000 risk that I had. So with the setups, you know, I found one that scaled. And from that $2,000, you know, I was willing to draw down 70% of that $2,000 in order to scale. And it was extremely fast. Like, when I found the setup, I think in the first month, I started my risk at like $100 a trade. And within, 2 or 3 months, that risk was at $1,000 or $2,000 a trade, just off of natural percentage risk scaling. So when you find the setup, it happens super fast. I think the first year I turned 25,000 or 27,000 into like 150,000 from just one setup that I would wake up every morning and do. It probably had like 1 or 2 setups a day. So the high frequency allowed it to scale really fast. And then I continued that with a couple other setups that were similar. And, same thing, scaled the 170,000 into, a little over $1 million. Just, rinsing and repeating the same strategies, the same, percentage risk of my account. I kept it simple. So I'm kind of still at that point today where, you know, I'm trying to find setups, I'm trying to risk percentage of my account, and if they work, they're gonna continue to scale.
Do you think it was harder to turn the 27 to 150 or the 150 into a million?
Definitely the 20,000 into over 100,000. That was harder. It took a lot more time because I was starting out as a beginner. You know, the first couple of years, just finding my place in the market, learning the basics. You know, I found my place as a systematic trader. But you know, at this point now, I've scaled those setups, and to me, like, those setups are kind of dying off. So I'm in this place where maybe I'm plateauing a little bit, and so I would maybe ask me in 6 months, I might say this is the hardest point in my journey. But, you know, I think it's all in ebbs and flows. You know, in 10, 20 years, even if I have hundreds of millions, I think I'm going to say, okay, I'm in the hardest place I was ever. I think it's just a continuous thing.
Yeah, expand a little on that process.
I mean, so like I said, like 600% for a few years, and then now I'm having to get comfortable with, you know, lower returns, but still when you plug it into the calculator, the numbers are insane. And I think that's just a part of the growth. I mean, obviously with huge amounts of money, you can't make thousands of percents a year. So just getting comfortable with that. And I think it's kind of like I'm finding a new identity right now in the markets where I'm kind of becoming more mature. And I'm not going for crazy risk, crazy reward. I'm going for steady returns, but still as aggressive as I can.
Well, to end it off, I want to play a little game. I'm going to rapid fire some questions. You ready?
Right.
It's going to be like this or that, but on what you prefer, like what you prefer.
Yeah.
So, here we go. First one. Swing trading or day trading?
Day trading.
Systematic or discretionary?
Systematic.
Bitcoin or Ethereum?
Ethereum.
Why?
Because it has way more return potential. I think Bitcoin's super mature.
Okay. Large caps or small caps?
Small caps.
Brunettes or blondes?
Brunettes.
Wow. Well, that's all I have for you, my friend. I appreciate it.
It was a pleasure.
Dude, you're such an inspiration.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching. Really, subscribe if you want more of these. And comment down below who is next. Should we do Edu Trades next?
Yeah.
We gotta do that guy.
Yeah. This guy's on the come up.
DigiTrade Diaries.
DigiTrade Diaries.
Thank you guys for watching. See ya.